There are a lot of lolcows on the internet. Most of them are horrid, both morally, hygienically, and most of the time socially. But not all lolcows are social freaks. Some of them have fan bases themselves, showing that they have some charisma. Charisma that is powerful enough for their followers, ironic or genuine, to latch onto. Charisma that would gain the attention of one Dr. Easterman. In this video, we will be looking at different lolcows to answer the question, which lolcows have the best chance of being prime assets in the Outlast Trials universe. I will be ranking these different lolcows based on a percentage of likelihood, with 0% being that they are way too harmless to become an actual prime asset to fulfill Murkov's needs, and 100% being that if these lolcows ever disappeared off the face of the earth one day, then they're probably shoving knives up places reagents would not like knives being on their body. Also, I just wanted to put up a disclaimer. This video is merely speculative and meant for fun. I do not want these people to suffer the fates as shown in the Outlast Trials or any other Outlast game in any way. Any crime they commit should be investigated and prosecuted by the proper authorities. Alright, so let's get into it. I don't think Chris Chan needs an introduction, and if I gave him a proper introduction, this video would be 5 times longer than it needs to be. All you need to know is that he's known for his Sonic OCs, mainly Sonichu, and doing bad things to his mother. His actions of his extensive lore and most recent appearances gives Chris a pretty good shot at being a prime asset. In fact, considering that he's been on and off the internet, he might already be one. Jokes, okay. However, his track record for violence only really extends to pepper spraying people. The only reason I think Chris actually managed to take advantage of his mother is because she's really old. Now, Murkoff could always just give Chris some enhancements to make him stronger. After all, that's what they did to Henrietta, or the Jaeger. But if Chris isn't using those enhancements to his fullest ability, Murkoff might not even bother. I'll give Chris a 60%. If Chris ever brutally beats someone up, like almost to the point of death, then he might get bumped up to an 80. Chance Wilkins is actually a local lolcow of mine. He lives 15 minutes away from where I live, which is a terrifying thought. Especially since I think Cyrax is at least 80% prime asset material. I mean, look at the guy. Here's a Cliff Notes version of Cyrax's lore. He's a wannabe rapper, artist, producer, game developer, film director, and dancer. And he's only managed to be at least decent at one of those. The rest, he's god-awful. He's 32 years old, lives with his grandparents Sally and Ed Wilkins, and argues with trolls constantly, keeping his poor grandparents up in the middle of the night in his roach-infested room. He's definitely mentally deficient, being in high school at 23 years old and still having to drop out. Before you feel bad for him, he is a pedophile, so making fun of him is completely warranted. Other than that, Chance spends his time making horrible music, yelling at people on the internet, sometimes entering voice calls with them to aggressively ask them why they're making fun of him, only to constantly interrupt them. The only reason I think Chance is at least an 80 is, again, look at him. He looks like a male version of Aurora if he wasn't bound to Otto. He is 100% willing to commit violence, but thankfully he's not really capable of it. As seen from a famous clip where he tried to fight one of his most famous trolls, Music Biz Marty. And just listen to the clip and tell me how well you think it played out for him.
I thought I told you ain't trying to be here. Come on. Come over here. Oh. Why? Stupid motherfucker. Why will you leave me alone? Why? Why wouldn't you learn? Well, you know, love you. Bitch! Get the fuck out of here. Who's the king? You are? Then run away now. And shut the fuck up. Fine. You win. You win. You win. Please let me go. I'm begging you. Please.
So yeah, Chance is definitely a fixer-upper. Murkoff would have to give him a whole Jaeger treatment, but I feel like Murkoff would definitely be willing to put the resources in to do it. I can imagine an Akron, Ohio trial chamber where you have to expose Cyrax's chat logs to 14-year-old girls, and you just hear metal screaming at you from across the room. That would be, like, horrifying. Alright, on to the next one. Andrew Ditch is a man hell-bent on convincing the world and those around him that he has autism. His Munchausen syndrome is so bad that he has attempted multiple times to poison his family in an attempt to get the world to believe that his autism caused him to poison his family. Even though doing something like that isn't something that most autistic individuals do. Fuck this guy. Most of the time, I don't have hatred toward Lolcows. I just laugh at them or feel bad for them. But Andy Ditch is someone I legitimately despise. He thinks having a mental condition, disorder, or illness excuses him from his actions. And yes, most Lolcows try to do this too, but most Lolcows actually have those conditions. So in a way, it does kind of work for them as an excuse. But Andrew Ditch is just LARPing. He's LARPing. He's LARPing so hard. And, having social unawareness is something autism can excuse, but not fucking your mother. Andrew Ditch... Okay, before I get pissed off talking about this guy, what's my ranking? 70%. Andrew does have the same problem as Cyrax, where he is willing to commit acts of violence but never succeeds. However, unlike Cyrax, he is smart enough to know his strengths and weaknesses, opting for poison rather than straight-up fist and knife violence. So Andrew gets like a 70%. Maybe he'll get the Jaeger treatment, but that really depends if he can get over his faking of autism, because chances are he'll probably LARP so hard that it might get in the way of what he needs to do in the trials. Daniel Larson, the Denver Demon, TikTok's resident lolcow. Mr. Larson spends his days stalking and harassing underage celebrities, and he is more than willing to commit violence. His big beak is 100% capable of sniffing out reagents in any trial, but I don't think Mr. Larson has all the makings of a prime asset. I'm giving him a 75% chance of being one, mostly because he is willing to make threats and sometimes commit violence. Just like many lolcows, he isn't really capable of doing so. The closest he gets is threatening to punch people in the back of the head when they're not looking, or threatening to plant bombs. So maybe he'll be more of a trap stealth sort of prime asset, kind of like the latest one, Liliana. I think that's what her name is. So, yeah, that's all my rankings. If you want me to rank more lolcows to see where they stand in becoming prime assets for the Outlast Trials, let me know. After all, I thought I'd just cover 4 of them, keep it nice and simple. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.